So guys, what's going on? What's going on? Canelo Alvarez. Yesterday, I saw a Boxing Scene article. Canelo Alvarez came out and said that losers make excuses. And Canelo's basically slammed Billy Joe, saying that, he's already started making excuses and a punch's not even been thrown yet. The fight's not even happened yet and he's making excuses. And he's basically saying losers make excuses. Guys that are losers will make excuses. And what I will say is that when Canelo lost to Floyd, Canelo never made any excuses. He said it was a learning experience. I lost to Mayweather and I've grown from there. He didn't make any excuses. Now, Billy Joe's never taken a loss. He's never lost before. He's never taken a loss in the pros. I know his level of opposition has been poor, and you can't compare his level of opposition to Canelo's level of opposition. Billy Joe's not fought top guys. Let's just put it out there. He's not fought the top level guys. Now, he was saying that, oh, my resume is better than Andrade. Yeah, it is better than Andrade's. I'll give him that. But it's not any better. It's not much better by any stretch. I mentioned that Billy Joe hasn't fought the top 160, 168 pounders. And he's obviously jumping up levels to fight Canelo. Tyson Fury has said that, Billy Joe will dominate Canelo, and a lot of my subscribers and people, just in general, when I put that that post up on social media, on Facebook, people were laughing at it and saying no chance. Listen, Billy Joe Saunders has got a chance. It's just a slim one against Canelo, and the reason why, because of his resume, because of his inactivity, not living the life. Canelo gets better. He's very dedicated to the sport, and he's a phenomenon right now. But coming to the excuse, what Canelo said about the excuses, Canelo's not happy. He won't be happy that the fact that this guy's making excuses before the fight. Now, when I say he's making excuses, I think he has a legitimate reason to be worried, because obviously when you look at some of the results and some of the history of Canelo's fights, some of the close fights hasn't gone in his favor. Some of the close fights has gone in his favor. So I can understand Billy Joe's concern. I can understand why Billy Joe would be concerned about, if the fight's close and what will the judges, and the judges and stuff. But Canelo's coming out and saying losers make excuses. Listen, I do agree with Canelo to a point that obviously the fight's not even happened yet and you're already talking about the judges, etc. I think it's more of a ploy, a tactic to make sure that the judging is on point and putting pressure on those judges. I don't think it's anything to do with, whether there was one Mexican judge, one English judge, and I'll make a separate video about that. But I think it's got nothing to do with that. I think it's all down to the fact that it's a tactic from Billy Joe to try to put pressure on the judges to make sure, and not pressure, rightfully so, to make sure that the decision is fair. Now, do I think the judges will be needed? No, I don't think so. I think Canelo will stop Billy Joe before 12 rounds. But if it does go to decision and Canelo puts in Billy puts in a great performance and deserves the decision, then I will be upset. If as you guys know, I'm one that keeps it very real. If I feel something's fishy, I'll say it. And as I said about, as I mentioned on my live stream about the David Adelaide and what's his name, Camel, on the weekend, I made it very clear that I don't think David Adelaide won that. And if Billy Joe was to beat Canelo Alvarez and don't get the decision, I will make myself heard loud and clear, like I always do. When I'm giving my opinion about this fight, it's because I believe very strongly that Canelo will win. Now, I do see some of Billy Joe's strengths, but when I say I'm just giving you my opinion, but if the fight happens and Billy Joe does really well and deserves to win and doesn't get the decision, then I will be making myself known. Because like I said, I keep it very real. I'm not biased at all. I know some people accuse me of being biased or biased towards Billy. I'm not. Never have been on this channel. I'm never biased at all. Especially when I give my opinion about something or a fight. I never come across. Because you know what? I think this sport is too tough, and I think when a guy wins a fight and doesn't get a decision, I think it's just ridiculous, because a guy's going in there putting his life on the line, and it's the only sport, whether you win or lose, you come out less of yourself. And I don't think it's right for a guy that's gone in there, put in a shift, and then gets done on the scorecards. I just think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong, and like I said, Billy Joe deserves his fair shake if he goes to scorecards. However, I will say this, that Canelo obviously is a guy that's obviously the biggest star in the sport. Billy Joe knows that. Billy Joe knows that Canelo's the biggest star in the sport. And when you're the biggest star and you're the politically connected fighter, generally things do favour you. And it's not just like that in boxing. It's like that in football. It seems to me like Man United get a lot of favourable decisions going their way. You know, the top teams seem to always get like the favourable decisions. You very rarely see a top team get a decision go against them. Very rarely, now and then. But most of the decisions go for the top team. And the bottom teams end up suffering. That happens in every sport, man. It happens in every sport, and boxing is just one where it happens. It's highlighted more because it's two guys in the ring, but it happens in a lot of sports. It's more visible in boxing because it's so clear sometimes. Like we saw on the weekend, David Adelaide and Camel. Why do you think David Adelaide got that decision? Do you think if you switched the roles and David Adelaide was Camel and Camel was David, who do you think would have got that decision? You see, it's all... The politically connected fighter gets decisions. I remember Paulie Malignaggi was strong on this, and he used to say this, that the politically connected fighter always seems to get the decisions in boxing, and it's wrong. It is wrong. Because I don't think a judge should be going in to score a fight if it's close. Oh, I'll give it to Canelo because, you know, he's the biggest star. Like, it just seems, it's too coincidental that every time the fight's close, how many times do you see when a fight's close that the politically connected fighter gets the decision? How many times? It's just all the time. Like literally 95% of the time you see that. And I'm not gonna go say it's corruption. I don't like. I just think that I think they're swayed a little bit. They're swayed a little bit, and you know, I don't think it's a case where anyone's, you know, handing over a brown envelope or anything. I don't think it's any of that. I think that's nonsense. I think Eddie Hearn's right there. I just think it's sometimes the judges can be swayed. I think it's the mindset. I just think it's the mindset. And unfortunately, this is something that I just don't think... I think the only way it can be stopped if they actually start interviewing judges after the fight, after making a call. Why did you give the decision? Especially if it's controversial. Nobody sees it that way. I think they should interview fighters. And if not interviewing fighters publicly, then at least call them in. The commission should call them in and have a discussion about why they saw the fight that way. But if you're just going to let a judge score it the way he wants to score it and then not have no repercussions if it's a poor decision, then surely you're going to see more of these. I think there needs to be accountability for people that make bad decisions. But yeah, Canelo obviously not happy, saying stop making excuses. We haven't even fought yet and you're making excuses. Billy Joe has valid arguments. But also, I get Canelo's points that Billy Joe has got a fight with the biggest star in the sport. Billy Joe needs to go in there and prove his worth. And even if he was not to get the decision, I think people would know that, wow, you know, people, at the end of the day, fans make their feelings known. If Canelo loses a fight and he gets the decision, fans will let their feeling known, like they did with the first Golovkin fight. Right? Fans let their feelings known. Fans don't lie. Majority of boxing fans don't lie. They say it how it is. Right? And I agree with Canelo. I think Billy Joe probably should stop now. I think he's made his point and his point heard by many. I think people have taken it on board. Especially, you know what? If the fight wasn't to go the distance and he was to get knocked out, Billy Joe, he's just going to come under a lot of stick. So I think he should just get on with his job. Go in there and put in the performance of his life. At the end of the day, like I said to you, everything is in Billy Joe's hands, right? If he's strong enough, he can knock Canelo out. He's going in the ring with him. He's got to put in the performance. So the judges don't have anything to do with it. If you can knock somebody out, I get it. Billy Joe's very unlikely to knock out Canelo. But, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he hits him with a punch like someone mentioned to me on Facebook that he doesn't see coming. I don't think Canelo's going to get knocked out. But, you know, it is boxing. It's an unpredictable sport. Anything can happen. But what Billy Joe needs to do, he needs to feel like he needs to go in there and dominate. He needs to do what his friend Tyson Fury said. Even though I don't think it's possible to dominate Canelo, but that's what he should think he's capable of doing. That's what he should go in and try to do. Dominate. Make it look so obvious that he's outboxing and beating Canelo. If he does that, look, if the fight with David Lemieux was close, right, the judges might have gone against Billy Joe in that fight. But he made it so easy. He made it so clear that he's beating David Lemieux, so he got the decision. There's going to be no difference in the Canelo Alvarez fight. The only difference is he's fighting somebody that's levels above David Lemieux. He's fighting somebody that's levels above David Lemieux. Levels above. So it's obviously going to be a lot harder to outbox Canelo the way he did with David Lemieux, because Canelo's so much more versatile. He has so much more in his arsenal than David Lemieux, that to completely dominate someone like Canelo Alvarez is a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do. And I actually think Canelo Alvarez has got way better at fighting styles like Billy Joe. I know people are saying that, oh, well, that was, he got struggled against Lara, struggled against Trout. They were fights a long time ago. Long time ago. Canelo's a different fighter. When he comes forward, he's a lot more patient. He doesn't panic anymore. His defense is much better. He doesn't get hit as much. These are things that, if you've seen Canelo over the years, like I have, these are things that he's improved massively. He doesn't panic anymore. When someone's outboxing him or someone's ahead, he doesn't panic. He's very calm. He's not flustered. He knows that somewhere along the line he will get his opening. He'll keep the pressure on. He'll test your heart. He'll test your will. He'll test your skill set. And as soon as he sees some weakness or he smells blood, he'll go in. That's the thing with Canelo, man. Canelo's improved. He's very patient now. He's very patient. He doesn't panic. See, when he fought Lara, I felt he panicked in that fight. I felt he was trying to rush his work. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't do that. I don't see that desperation in Canelo anymore. I feel everything he does is calm and collected. He's cool. He's got so much experience. And listen, that being calm, being collected, not being flustered, that comes with experience. Because when he fought Lara, he hadn't had that experience. He hadn't been in the ring with somebody that was outboxing him. Right? And he knew the fight was close. So when he got in there, he was worried. When the rounds were going by, he was worried because he knew the fight was close and he knew he could lose the fight. So he started to panic. But as time has gone on, he doesn't panic anymore. He's a lot more calm. He's a lot more collected. He doesn't get flustered. You can see it in his body language. When he's walking, guys, look at Callum Smith, for example. I know he dominated that fight from start to finish, but just look at his body language. Look at his confidence. He doesn't doubt himself, I feel, anymore like he doubted himself when he fought Lara. His mindset is completely different now. His mindset, Canelo's mindset, is different to what it was when he was fighting guys like Lara. You see, confidence is everything in sport. When you start believing in yourself and start believing that, you know what, you're a completely different player, you're a completely different fighter. It's like that with every sport. There's a footballer that plays for Leicester City. His name's Kelechi Iheanacho. And he was having a very poor run. He was a good player, very poor run. And it looked like Leicester were going to get rid of him. And now, the guy in the last, 20 games or so, the guy's just turned a corner. He's scoring worldies. He's looking unbelievable. He's looking like, is this the same player that we saw a year ago? It's because confidence does everything for a player. And it's the same with a boxer. Canelo now has confidence in his ability. He's got the momentum. He's got such great momentum. He doesn't feel anyone can stop him. He believes even if Canelo goes in with somebody that he's overmatched against, he would be dangerous. because of that confidence, because of that momentum, that belief that he has in himself, that I can beat all of these guys with ease. Look at how you could say he's literally making a mockery out of it. Fighting Callum Smith in December, then fighting Yildirim, then fighting Saunders in May, then looking to fight Caleb Plant in September. Who does that? Who does that? You tell me who does that? He has so much belief, so much confidence in himself, and so much confidence in his ability. So much confidence in his ability. Canelo right now he's going to be a tough man to beat. I'm telling you, that confidence, you don't understand. You don't understand that confidence, what it does for a fighter. When you're on a winning streak and then you've got the skills and talent of a Canelo Alvarez, you're a very, very hard man to beat, because you're in boxing, how strong you are mentally and what you've got up here is very key. And Canelo's not just a guy that's just confident. Like, some guys are not that great, but they're going through a purple patch. Canelo's not a guy that's not going, he's going through a purple patch, but he's also a guy that's very, very good. He's also a guy with a very good boxing IQ. He's just got also a guy with very good skills. So he's got the momentum, he's got the confidence, he's got the mentality, and most importantly, he's got the skills. And skills pay the bills. Because at the end of the day, you could go through a purple patch. Form is temporary, class is permanent. And Canelo is class. So, yeah, I get Canelo's just hitting back at Saunders. Obviously, he was probably asked about, Saunders accusing the judges and stuff, and he goes, "Just make excuse." He basically said, losers make excuses. He's probably, and what Canelo is basically trying to say, that he's looking for an excuse for when he loses the fight. Now, obviously, if Canelo stops Billy Joe, then there's not going to be any excuse about the judges, which is going to make Billy look bad if he does get stopped, especially what he's made about the judges. But at the end of the day, I don't blame him. I don't blame Billy Joe, because at the end of the day, he's got to make sure from his side that everything's in a great, in a great position for him. Because he doesn't want to go in there and put in a performance of his life and then get robbed on the scorecard. So, yeah, I don't mind him doing what he's done. I think he's made his point heard. I think he's made his point heard by the judges and all the commission, etc. But I think now it's time to focus on the fight, which I believe he is, and let the judges stuff now go down the wayside. I think you've made your point heard, and now it's time. Now it's time for him to go in there and perform. Billy Joe. Can Billy Joe prove everyone wrong? Can he prove me wrong? Can he prove the doubters wrong? You could say I'm a doubter, because I don't think he's going to win. And there's many people like me. So Billy Joe's got an opportunity to really shock the world here. For me, it'd be some achievement if he can beat Canelo. This is legacy stuff right here. Legacy stuff. Canelo's looking forward at Caleb Plant. Is the back-to-back camps going to come into favor Billy Joe? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. You better believe it. I'm looking forward to it. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.